Jamie Jules,
Hello.
Jamie Brooke Ricks, Nugent. I shouldn't say Ricks, you're Nugent.
Also Ricks.
Always a Ricks.
Once a Ricks, always a Ricks.
What? I was gonna say the Vegas tagline, but that doesn't make sense.
What happens in Vegas with the Rickses stays in Vegas. We should Vegas.
Wait, Mom and Dad
You
love
come
it.
back to America so that we can go to Vegas.
Oh, you're joking. You don't like Vegas.
Well, I think I would like Vegas with you.
Oh my gosh. What would we even do in Vegas? What do people do in Vegas?
People, like,
Terrible, obviously.
when you land, you become like your Vegas person. So we would need to figure out who that person is before we land, you know?
I'm all I'm saying.
I know who I would be. I don't know that I want to tell you on video where it's recorded and you can hold it against me later.
Hey. I mean, I want to see that. All right. Jamie, you're my sister and my lover.
I feel like you're my sister, not I'm your sister.
I was told once that that's like actually a great point, that you shouldn't, when you're introducing someone, that you don't introduce them as their relationship to you.
Oh, that's interesting. I was just
You don't say like, this is my sister. You say, this is Jamie. First you say their name, and then you say, I mean, I think it is okay to say your relationship together, but you say like, we're sisters. I think saying we're sisters is better than saying she's my sister or whatever.
Yeah, I was just joking. I just would like to point out for the record that I am 5 years older than you, and I don't get credit for that 5 years enough. So you belong to me.
People always think I'm older. Like,
so
I was
annoying.
like in my early 20s, people thought I was older.
Oh my gosh, it's like, look at these wrinkles. Half of them come from trying to win you over our entire childhood. Like, I'm cool, you want to be like me.
Whatever. Oh, okay. Well, Jamie Jewelers, so you're my idol.
Aww.
You taught me a lot of stuff. And so I wanted to have you on because I feel like you are just amazing, but also because I love your insights. Like, we've just always had great conversations over the years, and you just are a super hard worker and have done like amazing research and progress with all of your training. And so Jamie was a big shot in the training world, and I always like to tell people she's the American dream because she started off as an admin, and then as an admin in a trading office, and then worked herself to full-time day trading. So, Jamie Jules, can you tell everyone, maybe explaining what trading is first? Because I don't know if everyone knows what trading is. And then started off with the story of how you started trading and getting into it. So first start with what trading is, and then second, how you started trading.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I do think that the average person doesn't know what trading is, let alone like futures trading. Yeah. In my interview with this company, they were like, so, you know, we trade futures here. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I actually said that. I don't know why they hired me, but I was just like, okay. And then
like,
I went
home. You said it like that, like you just said okay.
Well, it's like, okay, you trade stocks because everyone knows about stocks, but futures, it just sounded like so sci-fi and like you're trying to, and so I actually went home after the interview and I was just like, holy crap, this is like a thing. People do this. They make money doing this, and I'm an idiot and I'm not going to do this job. So, yeah, I don't think that the average person knows what futures trading is.
Yeah.
So when you think about stocks, you think about the price that something is trading like in that moment, and you're buying ownership into a company. When you trade commodities, you're buying a product like corn, wheat, energies. And then when you're buying futures, you're buying a product or, a currency or something that's priced out for contracts in the future, what they're projected to be in the future. And whatever that price is depends on what people think that price will be. And so because it hasn't happened yet, it changes every single day until that contract closes out. And so, yeah, I started as an administrative assistant to the president of this trading group, and I did that for about a year and a half. And during that year and a half, they wanted me to learn the software because this company, Trading Technologies out of Chicago, they sell the software that traders trade futures on. And so my group was in charge of testing the software, and also there was a trading program where you could make money doing it. So I worked under the president of this group, and at the time there were, gosh, this is a long time ago, probably like 8 to 10 traders when I first started. Um, and I didn't know anything. And so to get to know the software and the industry and, just the terminology, language, they put me on the simulator. And so I ended up having a knack for trading, just, it was always kind of a gut feeling, intuitive thing for me, when to buy, when to sell.
So right away, when you just got on the simulator, like you saw that there was like a talent there. It wasn't like you had done a ton of research and you were like implementing the lessons that you learned through your reading and research and talking to people. It was just more like you got on and you're like, there's something here.
Well, I was in a unique situation because I was by far the least educated person in the group. I had this measly little bachelor's degree, and uh, everyone had, higher education or they knew the industry in and out. And I was also the only girl. And so I was extremely intimidated every day that I walked into the office, and so I had such a drive to learn quickly.
Yeah.
And so I think that fed into being successful because I just really wanted it really bad. And then also part of my job as an administrative assistant was to fill in for the risk manager when he had to go to the bathroom, or take a lunch. The risk manage the risk manager desk couldn't be unoccupied. Someone always had to be managing the traders' positions that were on in case they lost their minds or something, which happens. And so I think viewing trades from the other end of it was really helpful. Like, why is this person hedged in this certain way? And, they're trading so many different things at the same time. That's smart. They're diversifying. Or, and so seeing what everybody was doing was such it really helped me learn a lot really fast.
You got that insider view. Could you even see how much they were making and everything?
Yeah, I mean, you had to, because you had to be able to say you're done if they were too far in the red. And so, yeah, I mean, you saw everyone's P&L, profit and loss, and then you saw everyone's positions, and whether they were large positions or not.
And you saw how like quickly people were like getting in and out, like buying and selling.
Yeah. Wow. And so I could see how many trades they would do per day.
That's amazing. Like that's a huge like insider view into that.
Yeah. And, at the time I was just really happy to have a job. And I got hired making $35,000 a year. And I remember going home that day and just crying on the phone to Dad. Like, this is going to change my life, And
so low, but like crying like this.
No.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because that met every need I had at the time. And it made me feel so free. And because money, and we can get into this later, but because money wasn't an issue, I could just get on to other things. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't my driving force. I could just have fun and learn, be happy. And so as far as like having a knack for it right away, I think I'm just naturally an intuitive person. And I really trust my gut a lot. And so because I had done so much homework and so much research, that when I was putting trades on in the simulator, I felt confident about it. When you feel confident about something, there's a reason why. It's like you have a plan going into it. And so I knew that when I put a trade on, I knew how much I was willing to lose. And, there was always a plan behind it and when I was going to cut myself off. And so I think that always feeling confident in that way played into, why I was successful. And I was really in tune with how I felt, and sometimes I would react to trades in a weird way. And I would be like, that's crazy. Why did I get out why did I get out of that trade at that point? And I didn't know why. And I would really like try to figure that out because I really trusted my gut in that way. And I think a lot of people don't factor emotions in as much as they should when they're making decisions, with money or careers or things like that.
Yeah. Okay, I want to, because I think that's super interesting, and that's like something that got brought up with us a while ago. But first, I want to, before we go like deep dive into that, I want you to talk about your relationship with Mike. Just really quick.
So Mike Burns was the president of my group, and he is just a powerhouse, just a wealth of knowledge, and just like one of those people who is always immediately liked, but the most intimidating person you'll ever meet. Like, I've never been
character, right? Like, yeah, definitely had like you could make a cartoon out of him.
For sure. Like, I've explained him to people as Ari Gold from Entourage, but like a nice guy. Yeah. But when I first started, there were so many F-bombs coming from that end of the room. It was just like, holy crap, I don't want to be the receiving end of that. And I was over the years at some certain points, but I deserved it. It was like, knock it off. But
I don't know if anyone deserves being cussed at, but that was just like the culture too. Like Mike was like super old school, like treated when there was like people on the floor, right? Like,
and I think that's the beauty about Mike, is that he had the ability to be harsh like that, but it was so indirect that it was never like F you. It was always just never like personal. You effing got this. You effing got this. It's just like, it was so like empowering the way he would do it. And it was just like, ah.
But he would also like make grown men cry.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And I didn't realize a couple of years that it came from just a really, really good place. He cared so much about the success of the company and everyone who worked there, but specifically like the traders in his group, that he was so passionate. And hi, Sloanie Baloney Macaroni.
Sloan, you need to say hi and then you need to go, because I know that it's Auntie that I'm talking to, but I'm actually working too. We're on a work call. Yeah, it's Mama. Love you. Get your bum out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, she's been doing this thing where she takes her, she shakes it, and can you see it in the?
Oh, Nikki, she was doing it here in Brandon's face.
Okay, Sonny, seriously. Okay, so Mike Burns.
Yeah, and so it, it's not like him and I had an instant connection and I was like, this is my life mentor or anything like that. It took us a couple years because I was so intimidated by him. But, I worked there for 8 years. And he was my boss almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And for the first year and a half, I was his assistant. So there was Mike Burns, it's not like him and I had this instant connection, even though there was so much interaction. It took, a long time to develop a relationship, and we eventually started talking about, personal things. And because we both had a passion for trading, we would talk about like the psychology behind trading, and then you naturally go into why do you make your trading decisions, and then it's why do you make decisions in your life anyway, and let's talk about our childhoods. And it just kind of like naturally developed.
And yeah, you guys had like a really great rapport.
Yes. And I just learned so many life lessons from him. And one example is like the first year that I was there, I was on the simulator and I put like a one lot on, which is like a way to measure how much money you put on a trade at one time. And one lot represented $10. And so if the market went down 10 ticks and you have $10 on, you're down $100. Anyway, so I was down like $300, which, isn't a ton. But if I had put $1,000 on or $100 on at once, it would have been a lot of money. And, at that point, we were just trying to get me making good decisions. That wasn't a good one. So I was trying to figure out frantically what I was going to do. And I could see Mike Burns kind of hovering behind me. Sure enough, he walks behind me and he's staring at my screen, seeing what's happening, seeing the chart going down. And I'm just staring. And he's like, what are you going to do, Jamie Ricks? What are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. And he's like, well, that's your decision then. And he walked away. And the lesson obviously is like, when you don't make a decision, that is your decision. Not making a decision is your decision, which I have never forgotten. And it helped me my entire trading career and helps me in my life still. It's like when you procrastinate, that's your decision. To let another day go by that you don't do this, that's your decision. So
I love the mic too. What are you gonna do, Jamie Ricks?
It's always Jamie Ricks. Jamie Ricks, come here, I need you. Jamie Ricks. So, and I would go in his office sometimes after him yelling at me like that, and he would be like, sit down, let's talk. I just want to talk. But it really just developed into this like really beautiful relationship. And I actually talked to him this morning for an hour. And I live in Boise now. And so, and I've been out here for, 4 years, and it's still just a really important relationship in my life.
He's so awesome.
So yeah, he taught me a ton.
I think one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him up is because of how I know how influential he has been to you, but also there's something to be said too of just how we don't make it on our own, like there's people in our lives, like no one can be successful just by themselves. And I think you're incredible and you're amazing and you're an talented and an incredibly hard worker, and it's just insane how you're able to like set goals and achieve them. At the same time, like even with that said, like Mike could have kept you in the administrative assistant position, right? Like he didn't have to put you in the simulator. He didn't have to do all these other things and then, you know, eventually promote you or switch you, I guess, to a full-time trading position, right? Where eventually you got out of that administrative position. So I think that's why I like to bring that up, is that like whether we want to recognize it or not, we're not just an overnight success, and two, there's people along the way that help us, right, and that are so crucial to our development and our success.
Absolutely. And I think that the difference when it comes to Mike Burns is that he didn't just want to help me, but he believed in me. Like he truly believed in me, and I felt that. And I did not want to let him down. And that's why he was such a good leader. Like just another quick story about him that I just love. He just did everything in his power to give his people everything they needed or just wanted to be successful. You know, when you're trading a lot of stuff, you need a lot of, we would call it real estate, but like screens. And at one point I had like 3 screens, and all the other guys had like 5 screens or 6 screens. And I was like, this is BS. I deserve more screens. And I just wanted more screens, but I didn't know how to go about getting them. And so I would just kind of like talk about like, I should get more screens, you know? and it's so stupid. And then eventually Mike, Jamie Riggs, come in here. And he's just like, what's going on? What's the screen talk? What's going on? And I'm just like, well, you know, it's really hard to trade. And I was just kind of in complaining mode. I'm like, I'm trading all this stuff, and my charts are like this big because, you know, I only have so much space to fit everything on. And he's just like, so do you want new screens? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, maybe if you ask for more screens, you'll get more screens. And I'm like, and so from there on out, I was like, I want this. Can I have this? What about this? What about that? But it's such a great lesson. Like you're not going to get things if you don't ask for them.
Yeah. So, and like putzing around and feeling bad about yourself and comparing.
Yeah, like, well, let me complain this, and then you connect the dots. Yeah. Right? No, it's like, this is the problem. This is what I need. Let me ask the person who can make it happen for me. It's just, he was great. I think Mike did a really good job at teaching me how to manage expectations. You know, and it plays into what you're talking about, because you don't want to set your expectations too high or want too much, because then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But then you don't want to set them too low, because that's really sad. And you want to, you know, you want to give yourself the tools that you need to grow, and so you don't want to set your expectations low. And so he really did a great job at helping me manage my expectations appropriately, like have appropriate expectations. And so that was you know, something that I had to learn over the years, like advocating for myself to expect more, you know, but not expect too much. And to expect just enough to like drive you, but then also be grateful for what you have been given at the same time. Because I do think that gratitude can feed passions a lot. So he did a really great job at helping me figure out that balance.
I love what you just said, that gratitude can feed passions.
Yeah, I think people can get caught up in like, once I have this, then this, or, you know, once I have that extra screen, you know, then I'll make money. Well, you know, you can have 15 screens and not make money. And so it's like, what's it going to take? You probably have enough. 6 screens, is probably enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that just being grateful for what you have, if it is enough, can really help you feel like you have everything that you need, and then you can just focus and get to work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also, like how you were saying, wait, what was the phrase? Gratitude fuels passion or something like
Mm. It
that.
can feed your passion, yeah.
Your passion. Yeah. I feel like when you're in that's like such a gratitude is such a positive space to be in. And so even just like law of attraction wise, like it helps give you that energy that sometimes is hard to have to like keep going on, so when you're grateful for something, I feel like it can feed into like getting back to like, oh, this is why I like to do this, or and like that passion, like what you were talking about. Anyway, I love that. I think
I think it's tricky though, because you need basic things to succeed. And for me at the time, with what I was trading, 3, 4 screens would not have been enough. It wouldn't have been enough
yeah
for me to manage my trades and
yeah
feel confident. And so, and once you get to a certain level, you want to get to the next level and then the next level. But it tops off at some point, when you just need to like buckle down and get to work.
mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely, a balance. And then I also, just a side note to that, drives me crazy when people are like, oh, this and that happened in my life, and it's bad stuff. It's hard stuff, or it's things that are preventing you from being successful at work, on a professional level. But I think that there is a personal aspect of this too, where people get caught up in like, I should be feeling grateful. Like this crap happened, but there's so many blessings in my life. I think that if you're feeling a certain way, you need to feel that feeling and then try to get perspective and move through it and realize that, and try to get to the source of why you're feeling that way. I
Yeah,
do think that the whole gratitude thing is kind of like a hype right now.
or could be like a band-aid, right? Or like distracting you from your these core issues that you need to take care of.
Yeah, it's like you might actually need that screen instead of just being grateful for those 3 screens that you do have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, be grateful, but get what you need.
Yeah.
May happen for yourself.
Yeah.
So
So
I think it's
figuring
a
out
fine balance.
everyone needs to figure out their 3 screens, right?
Yeah.
What are your 3 screens? Um, so okay, I think this is a cool like segue into what I wanted to talk. One of the main things that I want to talk to you about is money mindset. So when I first approached you, I wanted you to write a blog post on money mindset, and one of the things that I talked to you about was how I thought that in trading, like you just call them lots, right? So I thought that in trading, people didn't refer to it as money. They referred to it as like lots or points or whatever, to help them not be emotional, not talk about money emotionally. And I think when I said that, you were like, oh, no. Like in trading, they don't talk, they just say it in money, right? They don't use points or lots or whatever.
Well, lot is kind of a blanket term. So, if you're trading like crude oil, one lot is valued at $10. But if you're trading, oh my gosh, I'm trying to like remember what different things are valued at. Wheat, you're trading like wheat, one lot is valued at $12.50.
Okay.
So it's a blanket term to just like, if you say I have a 3 or I have 2 lot on in wheat, people know what that means. Or I have a two lot on in crude oil, that's $20. 2 lot on in wheat's $25. And so I think, it's just a way to assign value to the trade.
So, okay, I guess what I was when I first approached you in the blog post, I was trying to lead you into the direction of, can you talk about how you disassociate yourself emotionally from money when you were trading to be able to trade? And you came back and you're like, I didn't.
No, I always resisted that.
And so I love for you, because I think that I guess why I led you in that direction is because I feel like, from what I've seen with working with people, is how emotional money is, and how they like tie it to their worth, right? Where like I could say to someone like, how much money do you want to make, and they may, like, one person may say like, oh my gosh, I want to make $70,000, and I'll talk to seriously another person 2 hours later, and they could say, oh my gosh, I want to make $5 million. Those are two drastically different numbers, right? And so it started to make me analyze and think, like, what's going on in these two different worlds? I think there's a lot going on there as far as like how your parents viewed money, how much money you currently have right now. There's a lot of like psychological, logistical things going on there, but I also think there's a lot of emotional things there going on, of like what you think you're worth and all of that. So anyway, I thought that if you disassociate yourself emotionally from money, that you would be more empowered to make the money that you need to make. So for example, something that I do is I give myself a raise. Every time a client books me, I give myself a small raise. So the next client that books me, they're paying a higher rate than the last client. And that just helps me kind of like, put myself in a system instead of thinking like in a year from now, like, well, how much more should I charge, because I know that I can get too emotional about it. That's like a little game I play, or a system that I have to get around it. But I want you to talk about, because I would love to learn from this, of why you came to the fact that you need to like lean more into understanding that you can't disassociate yourself emotionally from money.
So there was a huge emphasis on that in my group, like you need to just be unemotional, and then I would see
all
guys,
the traders, right?
Yeah, and I would see like guys throw keyboards across the room, literally, and I was like, that guy is not doing a good job managing his emotions. And another angle to this is, I think, as women, we have such a, we get such a bad rap for being, emotional, and like, let's talk about feelings. Oh, and like, she's crying again, or, but I think that the fact that we are so in tune with how we feel, I feel like that really helped me with my decision making as a trader. And because I viewed it as an asset, I really didn't want to distance myself from how I was feeling about a trade, good or bad, because it really helped me with my decision making behind, why did I do this? Why did I do that? What can I learn from this? And so I think there's value in allowing your emotions to help you assign value to yourself. And so, for instance, I would spend a lot of my time just staring at charts And I was a strictly technical trader, meaning like I would look at like the technology in front of me, the charts, and I wouldn't listen to the news. I wouldn't listen to the unemployment reports or any kind of news or crop reports or anything coming out, because I knew that what was projected and then what actually came out, I knew that the lead up time would impact my decision making, and then the reality of the news would impact my decision making, and I didn't want that roller coaster. And so I was strictly technical. I would look at what would happen at certain times of day in certain markets, and I would say, okay, at 9 o'clock in this market every single day there's a little bit of a dip. What can I do there to capitalize on that? And over time, spending so many days and so many hours viewing all these different markets, I developed such a internal, storage of just gut, like I'm gonna put a 5 lot on in this market right now. Why? Because the market looks a certain way, and I'm not really sure why, but I feel like it's going to go up. And eventually, after having so much success with that, I started trusting it more and more. And when I talk about intuition, I feel like I'm also talking about emotion, so I kind of use those words interchangeably. And it was so intuitive for me and emotional for me. It's like, I don't have a good feeling about this. And there was a reason why I wouldn't have a good feeling about a trade. It was probably because it wasn't, like, whatever market it wasn't acting in the way that it typically does. And somewhere inside of me, I knew that. And from all the hours of staring at charts, and I would get out. And so I really feel like my emotions helped me become successful. And it's interesting because probably 2 or 3 years into my trading career, I just I started fighting against it. For a while, I just kind of kept it to myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use my emotions to my advantage, but I'm going to keep that secret to myself. And like, everyone else can do whatever they want. They can throw keyboards across the room if they want, make fools of themselves. But I'm going to, like, when I'm having an emotion, I'm going to really think about why and try to use it to my advantage. And then after a couple of years, I was like, you know what? If this can help me, maybe this point of view can help other people too. So I started talking to my other guys, all guys still, in the group, saying, why do you feel this way? Why? You need to think about that. And so the confidence that I had, or the experience that I had at that point, built confidence in me that I was kind of turning a corner in my career. Now I was at the stage where it's like, I might be able to help other people. And so, and I think that that's an interesting place to be in a career, So emotions are so interesting because you're dealing with so many different aspects, and it's very emphasized in the trading world because you have to make so many decisions every single day, especially as a day trader. I mean, there were days when I would do like 2,000 trades. That's a lot. That's 2,000 decisions. That's a lot of decisions. And with every trade, it was, how much do I want to put on? Where do I want to get in? Where do I want to get out? How much am I willing to lose?
Yeah.
How much time am I willing to?
Fatigue. That's like a real thing, right?
Yeah. And so anyway, over time, I became so confident with how I felt that I would speak up when people would say, like, you just need to numb yourself, just put that trade on, just do it. You need to have the balls to put that trade on. And be like, if you don't feel confident to put that trade on, you probably should not put that trade on. Do you have a plan? Why do you feel the way that you feel? let's talk about it.
So,
Like,
yeah, how did people react when you started speaking up?
I think the tricky thing is that it's not for everybody, and so some people embraced it wholeheartedly. Not everyone learns that way, but I think
did you start
really
talking to, like, because women started coming into the group, did you start talking to them too about more of the emotional trading?
I did. I did. And one was a little bit more invested in the software testing side, and then the other one was my friend's new assistant. And so there wasn't like a ton of trading going on, at their desks. But I would for sure talk about it with my friends and the other traders. Yeah.
But for the most part, it didn't really resonate with people.
Yeah, I would say for the most part it didn't. Part of the reason why was because, the history of trading is it's gone from the floor to the screen, and now from the screen everyone's trying to automate their trades. And so, because we were a software company, we were rolling out this new product called Auto Trader, where you could create algos to, put trades on and off for you. The problem with me is that sometimes I would put a trade on and I wouldn't even know why. If I had to like write that down and then code it, it's not going to happen. And so it naturally, there were conversations that would take place in our group where I was like, I don't want to automate my trades. Yeah, it's really time consuming, but I'm making really great money. And it's because I've done my homework and I trust my gut, and I feel like something's going to get lost in translation if I try to automate it.
Totally. So how do you feel like today that has fed into how you view money? Like just your normal day to day. Do you feel like it has it all? Like grocery shop, you know what I mean? Like how we spend money, or like, budgeting for vacations or whatever. Like, do you feel like this kind of emotional tie that you have with money has leaked from trading to other places in your life?
Absolutely. It's been a process for me. I think growing up, we grew up in the same house, so you obviously know, but there was such an emphasis on saving your money. And so my mindset going into this job was like, save, 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 and it's like, okay, well, once you have that nest egg, and once that nest egg gets up to this amount, at that point, you have disposable income and you deserve at that point those jeans, or you deserve to go to TGI Fridays or wherever you want to go, Bandera for me. But
credit, but I think, yeah, okay.
I was trying to think of something, just like an average restaurant. It's like some people think like I don't even deserve to go to TGI Fridays or 7-Eleven, even, because you're just, I'm trying to make the point, like, in my head at the time, I had to get to a certain point before I deserved certain things. And so, and I think that, there's a lot of research out there right now, and a lot of statistics showing that women are so much better savers than men. And so coming into the job as a trader, that's what I thought. I'm like, I'm just going to save so much money. I'm going to save my $35,000 a year. And then once I started making trading money, I was like, I'm going to save this money. I'm not, and then, I get to work. And it's interesting because you would start every single day at zero. It's not like the money you made from yesterday is still showing up on your screens at the end of the night. The books zero out, and you walk in and you start the day with a zero on your screen. And then it goes up or down depending on how your day goes. And so I would get the question often, like, how much money do they give you every day to trade with? And I think that plays into the whole, like, you have money in your savings. How much do you deserve to buy in the market today? What kind of jeans do you want to buy with your savings? Do you get to go to 7-Eleven today? It's like, and I loved every day thinking to myself, like, I deserve to make money today, and I'm starting at zero. And so it was really and it's a little bit of a stretch, but the way that it works is like, it's not so much that they're giving you money every single day, but it's more so like, here's your account. You can't lose any more than this amount today. And so I think that that's just a better way to view life. It's like every day is new. You can go up or down, but set a proper limit for yourself. Where's your stop limit?
Yeah.
And then the better you get at making decisions, the bigger that risk limit is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of my trading career, I think it was like 30 grand in one day, because I had built that confidence in myself.
Yeah.
And so as far as how has it impacted my daily life now, I think it's just the things that you value, like now for me, it's not like, it's more so about like taking risks than it is about not spending too much. You know what I mean? It's like, I've had enough success in my past that I feel confident that I'm not going to be reckless. And so I just want to do the things that I feel passionate about, make me happy.
Do you have any influential books or podcasts or websites or articles that you can recommend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe just like one or two.
Oh man,
I know.
give me 20 minutes. It's funny because towards the end of my trading career, there would be like interns that would come in and sit with me, and then at the end of our sessions, I would send them a ton of material. So a couple articles that really helped me in my trading career: Deliberate Practice, and then
That's a trading book.
It's an article.
Deliberate Practice. But is it in the trading industry or whatever?
I haven't read it for a long time. It's more so like cultivating habits in a way that can help you be successful in any field.
Cool.
And then another article that I really loved when I was a trader was The Common Denominator of Success. And anyway, and so a couple of books, you asked for just a couple. So The Art of Choosing, I thought that was like great one. I got like very obsessed with like decision making and why we choose the things that we do. I really just wanted to like dive deep into why we make certain decisions, because I had to make so many every single day. So I was super obsessed with like the psychology of trading.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that book was incredible for me. And then The Disciplined Trader. I had to be extremely disciplined. I had to babysit my trades until I got out of them, and sometimes it wouldn't be for long periods of time, and so it's like around the clock as long as that market was open. And so I had to develop certain habits that were hard. And so I would say those two books and those two articles, and I can send those to you.
Yeah, thank you. Those sound really good. I love the decision making stuff and how you were talking about earlier about that story with Mike. Well, that's your decision.
Well, there you go. That's your decision. Walks away. Thanks for shaming me and running. Jeez.
Hey, man.
Supposed to be my teacher.
Sometimes it works. Just kidding.
Oh, that's awful.
What makes you feel strong?
Honestly, it's really sad that this is what it took, but I think being a successful trader has made me just a way more confident individual than I ever would have been without that experience, because I put so much work into it, and then I did it, I became a futures trader. It's like I got that title. And then I was good at it. That built so much confidence in me. And even though I'm not technically a futures trader anymore, I still feel like I have that confidence within me. And so I guess like the successes and the lessons of my past really make me feel strong.
Yeah.
And I think that just like doing your homework and doing your research makes you feel strong, being prepared. You know, isn't that the Boy Scout motto?
It's not the Boy Scout motto, it's Dad's motto.
It's Dad's motto, yeah. And I think something else that makes me feel strong is just believing I have something to contribute that's valuable.
I love that. Okay, cool. Ooh, I'm still processing. Lots of good nuggets in there, Jamie Jules. Okay, second question. What's a feminist topic you most care about?
I've actually been thinking about this so much lately, with the Harvey Weinstein crap and just 2017 being such an amazing / awful year for women. It's just been on my mind a ton.
Yeah.
And I was just reading the article about Taylor Swift's case against that DJ that grabbed her ass.
Oh.
And how she won the case and she won $1 in the settlement because, anyway, she said it was like the most valuable money she's ever won. And she has.
Wait, why did she only win $1?
Because she's like a quadrillionaire.
Oh. So she wasn't like suing him for money. She was suing him for like putting him on public display or whatever.
She sued him for $1. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think, you know, victim blaming is like, it's an issue that is really close to my heart right now. I think I'm the type of person, I'm learning this about myself, that I don't have a hard time advocating or sticking up for anybody. Like, no, you don't treat that person that way. No, that's wrong. Stop it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that the whole victim blaming thing on a completely ridiculous level, it's like that person that gets pulled over for speeding and then gets mad for getting a ticket for breaking the law. It's like, actually, you were wrong because you were speeding. The speed limit's not wrong. You were the one that broke the law. It's like you're blaming the speed limit. No. It might be ridiculous that it's 35 in that zone, but you broke the law.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so victim blaming.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I was talking with my sister-in-law, Carrie, about this yesterday, along the lines with like feminist issues. I think a lot of it, like, men have the power, right? There's in the equality, the balance is that men have the power. And so women are speaking up, right, to like say like, hey, we need some of that power. Like, we need to be equals. And if we, of course, men victim blame, right?
Of course.
But women victim blame too. And if we don't band together, if we're not banded together as women, and men aren't going to be like, oh, let's give some of these women the power. You know what I mean? Like, we have to like bind ourselves together.
Men and women.
Totally right, and include men. But I'm saying, like, women need, if some women are like, oh, I don't want any power, and then some other women are like, give me power. Like, women I feel like we need to bind together to all recognize, like, we need this power, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that men, I like, I expect men, just because they have for so long, to victim blame. Like, my expectations of men are fairly low right now. like for women, I feel like women, let's come together, let's do this together first, because kind of like the screen thing, right? Like you have to recognize first you need more screens before you can ask for it. And if we as women don't say all together, we need more screens. I love how I'm tying this into your screen thing.
It's all coming together.
It's all full circle here. If we don't bind together and say, give me my 5 screens, then men aren't going to be like, I think you need 5 screens. You know? Anyway, so I feel like a part of like what you're saying with the victim blaming, I feel like a part of that is women coming together and not victim blaming each other.
Yeah, and I think that all feminist issues are men's issues.
Oh, totally.
I think that harassment and assault are men's issues. I think that
it starts with them.
I mean, I believe that like men should lead the charge and at the very least participate in figuring out that like how not to grab our asses when we walk by, or how not to rape us during our lunch breaks. It's like, it would be hilarious if it wasn't heartbreaking. But I think that men need to be, more involved in this, and they need, and the more, it's exactly what you were saying, the more we come together as women to create more awareness around this, the more these issues will be easier for people to relate to.
Yeah.
Because they'll know someone who this happened to. They'll be like, oh, that happened to so-and-so, or that happened to me, or blah, 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 blah. And it'll empower more people to feel the courage to come forward. I mean, this is men included. This is a men's issue, and none of this is going to work if we continue to allow these abusive men to remain in positions of power. Yeah. And so I think this is a men's issue.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying it's not a men's issue.
Oh, no. I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying that by coming together as women, we can all work together to create the awareness that it takes to make all this happen.
Well, I'm so glad we're both agreeing with each other, because we have to agree with each other to make these happen.
We never have disagreements.
No. No, for sure. I love that. Cool. Thanks. Victim blaming. That's your feminist topic that you care most about.
Yeah, at the moment. I mean, I would, among many things, the glass ceilings, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you want to talk about this for another hour? I could, because I was the only girl in an all-men trading group for a long time.
Gross. I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, I work primarily with women. I choose, to have, Sloan's so funny. She's like, Mom, you only work with women, huh? And I'm like, yes. So even Sloan knows this. And so maybe this is a part of, maybe I need to, branch out eventually in my career and work with men. But for right now, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling real good about my life. So yeah, I can't imagine working in a whole office field, and I feel like also in the trading world, it's not just your typical man, right? These are kind of alpha, chest beating male.
It was interesting because we were a software company too, so some of them were the complete opposite of that. So it was kind of a mixed bag in Tradeco.
Yeah. They weren't the floor traders; they were computer scientists.
Yeah, and so it was an interesting mix of people, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you add a girl in there, and it's oh, Jeannie just walked in. Everybody watch your mouths. The lady in the room.
Yeah. Take out your cigars. All right. Jamie Jules, thank you.
Thanks for interviewing me.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being my first guest on my, wildly successful video series.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be successful now. So.
Now that I got Jamie Nugent on the screen.
Exactly.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I love you.
Love you. It's my pleasure.